format's very simple. Sachin Mandari, who runs the Story Co., and who also of late has got into his own Airbnb experience, which we'll find out a little more about, widening his entrepreneurial ambit. He tells us a story a week. It might be a story from a famous personality or leader's life, a CEO's life, or something from his own life, or his friend's life. Sometimes it's from my life. And then we draw marketing and communication tips and lessons from that story. Good to see you, my brother. How are you, man?
Good to see you too. Good to see you too. The other way we learned was with the.
The whip. Now, there's something so fascinating about our country that the language, along with the topography, changes every, well, less than 100 kilometers sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
And do we really utilize that enough? And I did say to you guys, if you're regular listeners and watchers, you'd remember. Last week I was talking about how sometimes when he tells stories, he even role plays. He will explain what that means right now. It's not naughty, it's business as usual. So, are we really making use of the rich pockets of language and culture that we operate in?
Right.
I mean, you look at France. You walk into Paris, everybody speaks only in French.
Yeah.
South America is universally Spanish,
Yes. Right.
and they're very proud of their mother tongue. There's no problem, and I think there are lessons to be learned in that too. Because if you're talking to a particular conglomerate of people who are, mother tongue speaking, then those skills come into play.
That's right.
Yeah. So you want to talk us through the story of the week?
Yes, the story of the week is uh, uh, I'm from Bombay, much like you. I moved to Mysore 4 years ago because I wanted to live in a smaller city. And one of the things that I realized is that you need to be able to speak the local language to connect with people. So I'm a part of this business networking group called BNI, Business Networking International. And a few weeks ago, they were celebrating the it was Independence Day, and we were supposed to present our business in Kannada. Okay, so that that was a bit of a challenge for me because, of course, that's not my mother tongue. It's a language that I'm still trying to learn. But I did put in the effort for a few hours to be able to get it right. And it was a very good 30-second presentation, which I truly enjoyed. But what I realized after that is that a lot of people who, in my chapter, in my community of business people who weren't really talking to me or weren't connecting with me, came up and started speaking to me for the first time because they really enjoyed listening to my business pitch in their local language.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you touched a chord there, my friend.
100%. And I think this is something that we all need to learn. I understand a lot of people from North India move down south and they find it extremely difficult to be able to.
I'm actually running through that story on LinkedIn, and those of you on radio will obviously not be able to catch it. Sachin is well our version of Raghu Dikshit, the pop star, wearing his mundu,
And he's from Mysore.
and he's from Mysore.
Yes.
So continue, yeah.
So when I presented, a lot of people connected with me, and I'm saying that a lot of folks from the north who come down south, and also folks from south who go up north, it's important to at least learn a few phrases of the local language. Nobody's expecting you to become an expert in Kannada or Tamil or Malayalam for that matter. People just expect you to make an effort to be able to speak that local language and just see how people change, the locals, the way they treat you and the way they want to be hospitable to you once they see that you're making the effort to learn this language. Now, this is something I noticed when I was traveling through South America as well. You mentioned that every time in Brazil, in the early days when I just had reached Brazil, I would go up to a ticket counter or somewhere and speak in English. Can I get a ticket, please? And nobody would understand and they would actually take a step back. But after a few days, I realized all I had to do is to just say, speak some words, billetto, por favor, and all of that. And they would laugh and they would then lean in and be very happy to help me out. Because all they want to see is that you're making the effort to speak in a language that I do. And that also is the communication tip of the day, Hrishi, that sometimes speaking the local language, the colloquial language is going to help you strike a chord with people. So don't always think that, English is the way to go. I should only speak in English. I need to sound sophisticated. Sometimes it's more important to sound real and authentic than sophisticated. even in business.
So wonderful. Tell us about your homestay business. What's that all about, man?
Hrishi, it's called Story Stay. So the business and storytelling coaching training firm is called Story Co. And the accommodation or the Airbnb business is called Story Stay. Fairly simple. We are focused on people who are families, a couple, their kids, maybe their parents or in-laws driving. So they are coming together in a car. They want a 2 BHK with a kitchen, nice place to stay in a city like Mysore. Then they can stay with us. We've been operational for about 3 years now, and we are super hosts on Airbnb, 4.8 on Google. Good times.
And where can one reach out to you if one wants workshops on business leadership storytelling? If you're HR of a company, listen up. This is important. If you're the CEO of a company and you're at a loss how to handle the situation because you've just jumped and been thrown to the lions, what do? This man has the answers.
It's fairly simple. Look for Sachin Bhandari on LinkedIn. Sachin is easy. Bhandari is Bhandary. And on my profile, there's a link which says get in touch or stay in touch. Click on that. You can either subscribe to my newsletter or set up a call with me if you want me to come and help your organization. Or you can also ask me how you can attend our business storytelling community called Story Club.
Well, till next week.
94.3 Radio 1.